Hello everybody, this is Descendant of the Light. I come to give a small documentary myself because there are some important subjects that need spoken on, and
Carter, now stop. This is getting ridiculous, or I'm gonna throw the bottles away. Then you
so
drink it.
God's coming soon. We all know that. Everybody who knows Him has received some kind of warning, something like that, whatever. What I'm going to talk about just for a second is an introduction, and I was going to start by talking about how I became to love God and knew God. Anyways, guys, so when I was 13 years old, this is like 2012, I believe so. Anyways, how I became to know God. Well, this one day, I was about 13 years old. I was at church, and I remember they were talking about the end. They were talking about the end of days, and talking about a train, get ready, don't miss the train, which, they were talking about the rapture right there. And, I was young, so I didn't really understand nothing. And, every single day, I felt like my life was hard just because somebody in my life that was real close to me would make my life hell because they had power over me as a youngin'. So if they were in a bad mood, then they were going to put me in a bad mood. So that's really kind of how it worked. And so every day I would clean my brother's rooms up. They were younger, and they would make me clean up after everybody. I was 13 years old. They made me clean up after everybody in the house. So, I thought my life was hard. And one day I came home, and Grandma told me to clean the room up like the normal routine. I went in there, and I began crying. And began talking out to God, crying out to God, talking about why is my life so hard, and help me, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't feel like He was hearing me because, I was 13. I didn't understand how prayer worked and all that. So, anyways, come to find out, He heard me. So we're going to get to that here in a second. But I told Him, I said, God, if you're real, show me the end of the world. And this was when I was 13. I'm almost 20 now, so this was a minute ago. Anyways, my brother's rooms was all cluttered and, trashy, toys everywhere. It was really nowhere you could step on the ground. But somehow, some way, the Lord Jesus put me to sleep, and I had a vision. And, so that's the weird part about it. Like, I asked Him, and He showed me. And I remember reading in scriptures, come to the throne boldly, and you shall receive. And, but anyways, guys, so what happened was, the dream began. I was in my front room with my entire family, and my mother was in there with me. She's one of the main ones that I seen and remembered out of the crowd in the front room. But I remember seeing my grandmother. I remember seeing my grandfather especially. And, he's a very special person to me. And, it really scares me. Really scares me because I think I know the meaning of this dream. But anyways, as I took a look around, it seemed as if everybody was sleeping, sitting up. Everybody was sleeping, sitting up. My entire family, except for one person, which was my mother. And, my mom, she kept getting up and checking out the curtains because we had 3 blinds in front of the couches that we sat on in the front room, and she kept getting up and looking out the blinds. And you gotta remember, everything's silent. And well, about the 3rd time she looks out the blinds, she opens them pretty wide to where I could see through them too from sitting down. And when she opened them the third time, I seen fire in the sky. I'm not sure what it was, but I seen three or four flames of fire that made the sound of whipping flame, like type noise. You know, it wasn't really no explosion, nothing like that. I seen fire burst in the sky. So, still, okay, after the dream, I'm going to tell you guys what my interpretation of this is. But, then after I seen the fire in the sky, it really alarmed me. Like, what was that? You know, I thought to myself. So I ran to the door and opened it. And after this, I seen a countless crowd of people, maybe multi-billions. I mean, that's how many people I saw outside. But they were all running, and they didn't even know where they were running to. Like, they were just running. And I just gazed out upon the crowd, and I seen how they were all running towards a certain direction. They were pushing each other, fighting, yelling, screaming, you know, beating each other up, you know, cutting, everything. You know, it was so hard to actually remember. I could not really focus precisely on a certain individual in the crowd. I seen the crowd as a whole. So, all the wickedness that was going on in the crowd, I believe God was showing me the wickedness of the world. Like, I believe that God was showing me that before His coming, apocalypse will come about. You know, people will go crazy, start kicking doors, robbing people, taking everything they got, stealing cars, busting windows, eating people. They ain't playing. So, another thing is, you know, after this though, this great light came through the sky. And it was so bright, it blinded every single person that was out there. Everybody threw their hands up like this so they couldn't see. They fell, tripped, and everything, you know. The light blinded everybody, and it showed up in an instant. It was just like, boom, there. And, you know, the whole entire sky was white. It illuminated the entire darkness. Like, it was really crazy. There was no darkness left after He appeared. And after that, I began to look back at my family in the house, and I looked back at them. They were all still asleep. It's like they haven't noticed that thing that's